Things I wished I never learned. If you burn alive, your eyeballs melt out of your head, but you'll still be conscious and aware of what's happening. When you use bleach without gloves and your hands get all slimy, that's your skin melting off. Mummies used to not be rare at all until British people ate most of them. You're more likely to be bit while walking around New York by a person than by a shark in the ocean, and human bites are one of the most deadly. If you're married to a man, there's a 1 in 5 chance that he'll leave you if you get extremely sick. There's enough water pockets in your toilet piping for rats and snakes to swim up, and people's no-no parts have been bitten off.
Hey, would you look at that? We're back with another one, y'all. Dxrk Mafia, what's going on, man? I missed y'all so much, bro. It's only been like, what, a day? Man, I've been working on these videos non-stop, man. You know, I work a 9 to 5, so I would put 2 videos out a day, but, you know, there's a lot into it. But, yeah, man, we're back with another one, man. Another good hour-long video here. If you guys want shorter videos or longer videos, I know my first video was like 30 minutes. But yeah, let me know if you guys want, you know, different time videos, all that good stuff. What else, man? I wish I had some more news for you guys. I can't think of anything right now, man, but we got some interesting ones today. And oh, by the way, I love the inspiration in the comments, man. People telling me they're liking the stuff. You know, it's just making me keep going, making sure that I'm keep posting too. You know, I don't want to fall off on this, so I love the love in the comments, man. Let's get some more likes and subscribes going. You know, and hey, like I said, email will be in the description. Send me videos. I will react to them, and I'll give you a shout out too. I'll make sure I remember who sent them, and I'll give you a shout out when I react to them and get them in the video. They'll be in the next video I post when I see it. So, you know, with that, you know, let's go ahead and get into it. Dxrk Mafia, we back with another one, and we ain't stopping, baby. Let's go.
I'm gonna tell you something. As bad as it looks, you didn't miss by that much. You see me make 2 in a row. You know, I had to sap one fast. There you go.
Yeah, we'll
try to just dig a little harder. You know, you can sort of like get yourself psyched up somewhat.
Oh, Wilt Chamberlain went higher than I've ever seen him go. The big captain's mad. Puts it up, Chamberlain blocks it. Puts it up, Chamberlain blocks it.
The way that Wilt turned on individually at the start of the 4th quarter.
Now, my thing was that goaltender? Nah. But Wilt, that boy, you can put him in the NBA right now, and he'll be straight. For real.
You know, I wish we didn't go to a game 7, but you know, that's the way the script was written.
You just said it. I think they lying.
Oh, your ring's real?
No.
Oh. So it was scripted. You knew you was getting them.
Of course, all day, every day.
Yeah. So y'all knew you was getting them that year.
I did.
Yeah.
There's a script. True story. I never told the story. In the first round, my first championship, in the first round, I forget who we were playing. I hear Phil Jackson tell Gary Vitti, hey, get us some hotels in Indiana, because that's where we're going to play in the finals.
Wow.
This is like before game 1 in the finals, and like, it didn't hit me until we got to Indiana.
Or maybe he just knew that they were the best team in the East.
I don't know. I'm just telling you what I heard the man say. We haven't even played one game yet. They were back at me. He's like, yeah, get us some, you know, hotel rooms in Indiana. I don't want to stay in Indiana. I want to stay on the, you know, outside of Indiana.
Are you happy they cast you in the role of Shaquille O'Neal?
Yes, I'm very, very happy. And I'm glad we beat Reggie Miller.
Who else was going to do it? Who else was going to play the role of Shaquille O'Neal? Muggsy Bones? Okay.
He had a major lawsuit against three, the most powerful pharmaceutical industries during that time, going back to the year 2020. The NSAID Therapeutic Corporation, INSYS, out of Chandler, Arizona. The Acorn Pharmaceutical Industry, which is now defunct as of going back to 2023. And Acorn had bought high-tech pharmaceuticals out of Lacrosse, Georgia, whose owner, Jared Wheat, is being investigated by the FBI and the SEC for insider trading. Why would Kobe go after these pharmaceutical corporations who are owned by one of the most powerful entities on this earth, the Novartis AG Group out of Basel, Switzerland, who does the drug testing for the NBA, the NHL, and Major League Baseball, you see. So Kobe was a threat to the system.
Rest in peace, Kobe, man. Real legend.
Something's not right with Kobe Bryant's case.
This is fucking spooky. Have you heard of the Kobe Bryant conspiracy theory? Okay, you're gonna add all four of these numbers and then tell me what you get. If you did the math right, you would have gotten 8,024. Kobe's jersey numbers were 8 and 24. And if you take these numbers and add each number individually, you're gonna come up with the number 41. Kobe Bryant was 41 years old at the moment of his death. This is so fucking crazy. So they died on January 26th. Now, if you add those numbers individually, you get the number 9. And there were 9 people that died in the helicopter crash. Now, this last part had me spooked. So the helicopter departed at 9:06 in the morning. And at 9:47, they reported the crash. If you take 9:47 minus 9:06, you get 41. The helicopter crashed within 41 minutes of departing. Wow. Kobe Bryant was 41 years old at the time of death. Was there a conspiracy behind Kobe Bryant's death? Was it a ritual from the Illuminati? There's all these crazy theories out there. All this math and numerology is giving me a fucking headache.
And what's crazy is, man, like, that's Kobe. You know, he gonna have the best helicopter. He gonna have the best of the best everything, man. And, man, bro, that was one of my favorite players. Definitely my top 5 for real, bro, because that's Kobe being Bryant. You know what I'm saying? But it's just, bro, you go against these you know, these companies and these powers that be, bro. It don't matter if you the Black Mamba. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter. You know, it really don't, bro. Like, you could be the best of the best and they gonna... Now, again, this is entertainment purposes only. I'm not saying this did happen, but, you know.
You know what? They did the Brighter Days memory erasure treatment to me, so I'm having trouble remembering the details. They're foggy because at the Brighter Days clinic they do the memory erasure, you know? What? The memory erasure. They erase my memories. It's a little foggy, but
if you could remember, struggle. Tell me. Give me a date.
Erased her memory, y'all. Hold on, bro, because I got some memories that I really wouldn't mind getting rid of. Yeah, I mean, can y'all like just like splice in little memories that I can just like not have? Never mind. Sorry if the video is quiet, guys. That's funny.
Hell's terrible, Jimmy. It really is. But if it's so bad, why did you all go there?
Well, Jimmy, hell is where our agents make our deals with the devil.
Oh, that explains that.
Why are they so comfortable with it? The thing is, why are they so comfortable with it? You know, like, you know, I'm not one to judge, but you real comfortable saying that and broadcasting that. So, you know, maybe, I mean, again, it's probably just for comedy, you know. It's probably just to be funny, for hee-hees and ha-has. So.
July 8th, 1979, all the fathers of Nobel Prize winners were rounded up by United Nations military units, all right? And actually forced at gunpoint to give semen samples in little plastic jars, which are now stored below Rockefeller Center underneath the ice skating rink. Wouldn't want to be there for the thaw. I mean, it's disgusting. You know what they put in the water, don't you? Fluoride. Yeah, fluoride. On the pretext that it strengthens your teeth. That's ridiculous. You know what this stuff does to you? It actually weakens your will. Takes away the capacity for free and creative thought and makes you a slave to the state. So you ever wonder about all these militia groups, survivalist type kooks from the right-wing side? They say that they're defending the country from the UN troops. These guys are yelling so loud. My theory is, and this is a conspiracy, pal, that they are the UN troops and that they're in place. The infrastructure's ready. It's in the fait accompli. When the time comes, they'll just take over and we'll all be toast. Oswald, yeah, Oswald. That's what I said, Oswald. Yeah, he said, I'm just a patsy, and that means that he didn't do it, right? I mean, George Bush knew what he was saying when he said New World Order. Remember those three little words, New World Order? Well, he was a 33rd degree Mason, you know, and as ex-director of the CIA. He knew that saying that was the chip for identification so they can track down an animal anywhere he's at. You'll insert it under the dog's skin, and it's kind of like an identification thing. I mean, it's only a small, logical step till they start putting it in us and our children. And then before we know it, my God, they'll probably come with the pre.
That's what he's talking about, though. They already got it. It's in everybody's hand, in everybody's pocket right now. You're probably watching this on one. It's called a phone. You ain't got to get it injected into you. You're on it right now. They're watching you watch this. Keep watching it, though. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah. Hey, is that one of those new hundreds? You know, where they changed the picture of Ben Franklin? Look at him. Yeah. He looks like the love child of Fred Burns and Rosie O'Donnell. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, get rid of him as soon as you can, lady. Look at it up to the light. You see the metal strip in it? That's a tracking device. If you got any more of those at home, get rid of them. Exchange them for goods or something. Because they'll follow you. They know where every one of those hundreds is going.
All conspiracies contain a...
And you know, they made your boy Mel, they when you start speaking truths and you start telling people, you know, stuff they either don't want to hear or don't know to hear or don't know about, they label you as crazy. And Mel Gibson is one of the ones that they label as crazy, and everybody thinks he's cuckoo. But then you come out with a movie where he's, you know, before all that, he was just regular old Mel Gibson. But now he's cuckoo, but then he made a movie like that. So, you know, what do you believe? So, you know, if they ever say your boy is crazy, we know the truth.
Negative truth. Watch this.
About your conspiracy, brother.
There aren't that many conspiracy theories anymore because we found out that all conspiracy theories, there's a nugget of truth in there. It came from somewhere. That's where it became a theory. And then it progressed to the point where it became a conspiracy theory because there was something there. See, in our industry, who pays you is who tells you what narrative you're allowed to use. And I'm not paid, so I own my narrative. Wow. So if in media, somebody's getting paid.
I've got one that can see.
And they always trying to make Cat look crazy. But Cat got something on everybody. Tell Cat come do a video with me, bro. On these reactions, bro. That'll go crazy.
Two companies control the world, and yet you don't know who they are.
Yes,
when we think of the most powerful companies in the world, we often think of Apple, Google, or Amazon.
Mafia.
However, these companies are small potatoes compared to the two behemoths that are BlackRock and Vanguard. BlackRock and Vanguard are the two most powerful investment funds in the world, with over $15 trillion in assets under management, or roughly 5 times the GDP of France. So how do these two companies control the world? It's simple. Vanguard and BlackRock own shares in all the world's most powerful companies. They are the largest shareholders in Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and Microsoft. They are veritable financial monsters. The two of them own absolutely everything in pharmaceuticals, transport, banking, and the media. It's simple. Every time you do something, you make BlackRock and Vanguard richer. Look at TF1, you make Vanguard richer. You go on Instagram, you make BlackRock richer. You buy an iPhone, you make Vanguard richer. And the terrifying thing is that when you make Vanguard richer, you also make BlackRock richer because the two companies are each other's largest shareholders.
So, how do we make us richer? You know, they control everything, so, you know. But the thing about that really gets to me is, will it ever change? Because apparently, you know, they obviously have control over, you know, for entertainment purposes. You know, this is not facts, but, you know, they influence the higher ups that govern us. So, you know, what do we do to change it? Let me know in the comments if you got any ideas and whatnot of how we can go about changing whatever, or even if it's worth it, you know. But yeah, who knows?
If you go to the hospital today and get an encephalogram, what's that? That's the memory of your conscious mind. It's on the CD. Let's download it on this being. Now we got a walking, talking duplicate that has the total memory that you have, because we just took it off of your own mind.
Okay, it's like Blade Runner, the android.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. The only thing is that it's like this DVD recorder. Sometimes you have glitches in it, so you have to have them tuned up occasionally or redone. And so we take them to Camp David, or there's a wing at Bethesda Hospital to just tell you. If you go down there and check, you'll find the nurses, if they're willing to come forth, they'll tell you they work on those people, and they call them the others. I thought it was interesting. They're people. Remember, these people can think and act, but they don't have soul. That's also prophesized. Soulless beings.
That's true. That's true.
There's something they're not telling us.
So if the thing has your memories, okay, and let's say you download your body onto a synthetic, you know, bio body or whatever, do you know that you're in the robot body? Or is it your consciousness, or is it just memories? And the robot's gonna have your memories, but it's not actually your conscience being transferred to it. Because I've been wondering about that my whole life. Like, I know I'm gonna go against the grain here. If I'm on my deathbed and they say, hey, we can download your consciousness and put it into a body of your choosing, you know, a body that's made and nobody had to die for it, is just a synthetic body. I mean, give it a go. Give it a go. You know, if I can, you know, download my consciousness into a body, and if it doesn't work, hey, it doesn't work, man. I'll see you guys up there. But if it does work, why not? I mean, let's not halt science. Like, let's not halt us getting to that next level where humanity's supposed to be. Let's not stop that because of our personal beliefs and us being scared to take it to that next level. But let's not be controlled. Let's not get to that next level, but then there's a governing force that is in control of us. We're all supposed to get to this next level. I personally believe that we're here to figure that out and become a higher society and go into the stars, you know? But that's my personal belief. Let me know in the comments how y'all feel about it. And, you know, there's no wrong answers. Everybody is allowed their own opinion.
That is so gnarly that they don't think people can handle it. Say,
these aliens, wherever they're from, made us, that we're a genetic experiment, that they created our religions, our religious figures, that we are an agricultural product, that somehow they harvest us, that our time is limited, you know, that once the experiment's over, poof, we go away. I remember when there was a push back to have an intelligent design universe in the schools, and I wrote a column about it, just said, hey, be careful what you wish for, because you might find out that the intelligent designer isn't God that you're thinking of. It might be some alien science project or something like that. You know, that you can imagine a lot of different things that would be really disturbing to people to come out.
Let me know how y'all feel about that one.
This is scary. Isn't it weird? How we all use our phones 24/7, but we never see them or use them in our dreams. Even all the other technologies like TVs and laptops, you just won't see them in a dream. Some people think that this proves that we're actually living inside a simulation because something is stopping you from seeing something on your unconscious level.
It's interesting.
The video on Akuna Matata. In Japanese, Akuma is the name of the devil. So Akuna means evil. Akuna Matata means many evil demons. And you might go, okay, well, it's Japanese. We're not going to talk about Japanese. Akuna Matata in Swahili means there is no worries, supposedly. But in Zulu, Akuna Matata means there is no father. And Zulu happens to be the primary language that the Lion King songs are saying in. Zulu and Swahili. But they told you, no, that song is in Swahili. It's not in Zulu. And what happens in the story of Lion King? Oh yeah, the dad dies. That movie is like literally targeted to the African-American community. We've got Mulan in Asia. We've got Snow White in Germany. India, you've got Jasmine. But when it comes to Africa, they make the movie about animals. That's a little bit racist, isn't it? Why didn't they just make it like, you know, African movie about the princess there? And then you look into like who runs this, and they're all people tied to the occult, to that area that we're not allowed to talk about, where they wear their little funny hats. Yeah. When you get down to it, you realize like the highest order of witchcraft is the cabal.
Here's a random.
And what's crazy is the best one was about the animals. The best one was Lion King. I mean, you know, shout out to Mulan. That's my shit. Stuff. But, you know, Lion King was the best one. So, hey.
Conspiracy for you. What if all of our major natural disasters were some way of a higher frequency being just making contact with us? Humor me. During the Super Bowl, weren't there a bunch of people that got a random text saying hello down there? We live on the planet with millions of different species, but we can only use our language to communicate with one. We can only perceive a small spectrum of light. We can only hear a small spectrum of sound. Even looking out into the universe and at different planets, we're looking for light signatures and energy signatures similar to ours. If you yell at a fishbowl full of fish, you're definitely not shattering the glass, but you're definitely causing some waves in the water. Let's say you swatted a bug. You're not generating wind, but you're alternating the current that the bug was flowing through. We still have trouble perceiving 90% or more of dark matter in the universe. We really know how solar storms affect us? To the full degree? Are dark matter storms the thing?
This is more than that. If this is true...
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say, to be honest with you. But, you know, think of it like this. How does a shadow see us? Now, we're three-dimensional. The shadow's two-dimensional. A fourth, you know, think of it also as like how dogs and animals, you know, I'm not saying that they're not as smart as us, they're just smart in their own way. But, you know, the way the fourth dimensional beings look at us, they probably look at us like we're the ants. You know, like how we look at dogs is how they look at us, or how we look at our shadow is how they look at us, you know. It'd probably be, they probably couldn't understand us because we're not on that level yet. We got to start with, you know, downloading our consciousness into synthetic beings and exploring the universe for the next 2 million years before we can get to that dimension, you know.
It means that much of what we've been taught about humanity is a lie.
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say.
That the first civilization was the ancient Sumerians, who existed over 6,000 years ago, even predating the Egyptians.
We keep all the mistakes in Dark Mafia.
Which is now modern-day Iraq,
what happens in Dark Mafia stays in Dark Mafia,
and Turkey. The Sumerians, who referred to themselves as black-headed people, are said to have worshipped the Anunnaki, a highly advanced alien race. For their time, they had an extraordinary understanding of the universe, as evidenced by their accurate drawings of the solar system. The Sumerians made groundbreaking inventions like the wheel, the alphabet, and the calendar we use today. They also developed irrigation systems and methods for measuring time. Many believe that the Anunnaki gave them this knowledge, challenging modern historical explanations. The stories from their ancient tablets align with religious texts from around the world. For example, the Epic of Gilgamesh mentions a great flood, a story that is echoed in cultures across the globe. What was once thought of as myth is now believed by scientists to be evidence of a global flood. If this is true, what other information in the Sumerian tablets could be real?
All right, let's get a vote in the comments, man. Do y'all want an Anunnaki episode? Because I've been doing a little research on them too, and there's actually books written by, you know, scientists about the Anunnaki and Sumerian tablets. I probably said that wrong, but yeah, let me know if y'all want an episode on that, man.
To show you how some children change in behavior, in activity, and in appearance because of some environmental factors. The first youngster we want to show you is a little 3-year-old boy, and we're going to see what happens to him after he drinks orange juice. Isn't it surprising that he changes this much, this quickly, and in this way? Now let's look at this 5-year-old boy who is being tested for chlorine. Notice how nice he is before he's tested. He's adorable. And now look at him. He's trying to fight his father. He's actually frothing at the mouth. He's trying to hit his dad. He's hollering. He's uncontrollable. Would you believe that this could happen to a youngster from one drop of a chlorine allergy extract? Now let's look at this little 3-year-old boy. He's going to eat some sugar cubes. He eats about 6 or 8 of them. And within 20 minutes, look at what happens to him. He's obviously irritated. He's angry. He is not acting the way he should. And when we give him the correct dilution of sugar, look at him. He's adorable. Now let's look at this 8-year-old boy. He's being tested with an allergy extract for strawberry. Look at how he acts. He is so angry. He almost looks demonic. He wants to bite his mother. At one point he put his finger in her eye and he said, "Fine." Let's look at this youngster. We're testing this boy for sugar. His mother has to physically hold him down because he's trying to bite her, he's trying to hit her. What do you think would happen if she let loose?
Pretty crazy, right? By the way, these videos were...
Apple just announced.
All right, let's test out the belt. But man, it's hard to get good data on anything when it comes to research about kids, because kids don't sit still regardless. You give them 3 minutes in one place and they ready to run on the roof, bro. Like, there ain't no kid trying to sit down through no research study. But yeah, man, just look at any other kids, man. I give one of my little cousins Oreo and they start shooting off the wall. So yeah, grab the belt.
That in their next upgrade coming this fall, they're going to actually put ChatGPT on every iPhone to collect and analyze all the data of yours that's flowing through an iPhone if you're using it. We did a side-by-side test between our phone and Google and Apple's. The Google and Apple phones seem to wake up between 2 and 3 at night, and they have this huge, like a 50 megabyte data dump that's sent out for the phone every night, sending off your preferences, everything you've done that day. Average kid in America, by the time they reach the age of 13, has had 72 million data points collected on them by big tech. Wow. Using that advertising ID. Wow. Each Google or Apple phone has like a 32-digit advertising ID. It's a code. Someone could call it the mark of the beast that follows that device around everywhere. And that's how the tech companies track where that device goes to figure out proximity for advertising, sales, and who you're interacting with in your schedule. So again, we did Unplugged as a way for people to still communicate in the world, but not be giving off all their digital data to big tech, to people that really don't like them. Some people are sheep and they want to live like sheep and be treated like sheep. And not everyone is a sheep.
It's a comfort zone. It's just easier being a sheep. And not everybody can be the standout. Not everybody is built for that. And a lot of stuff would have to make a big change. We'd have to have a civil war, if anything, you know, not to promote a civil war, but it's more comfortable, you know, just doing what's easy, and it's harder to, you know, organize and all that stuff. So it wouldn't be honestly real feasible to organize something like that. But, you know, we just got to trust the powers that be, and we got to get people good in there that's not corrupt for the most part. You know, it's a lot of it is built up. You know, the systems are built up, and if they're run right, it's good. But if they're not run right, I'm not going to say they are. I'm not going to say they aren't. You know, we're just here to discuss everything. But technology's good. You know, not, and even if doing the easy way, that's good too. You know, just, you know, we only get one life. You know, enjoy it the best way you can.
We tried to figure out how much charge the body takes in when you touch the earth. What happens is the body saturates with electrons practically instantaneously. It's so fast that you can't measure it. So electrons from the earth enter the body right away, and they coat the red blood cells so that the cells repel each other. And then they can't clump, and the blood viscosity goes down. It's easier for the heart to pump the blood pressure goes down, all kinds of cardiovascular issues, they go away.
Touch grass. So on the video game, when I'm going crazy on the video game and they say, man, go outside, touch grass, they're actually giving me good advice. Oh no.
For some reason, I just don't see the comments no more.
Sheriff's deputies pulling out a man who had been shot in an SUV.
For some odd reason. I don't know. Might be the water.
A passenger in that car.
Chicago rapper Lil Durk is facing new charges in a murder-for-hire plot. Dirk Banks is facing 2 additional felony charges, including conspiracy. He's accused of conspiring with others to murder a rival rapper in Los Angeles in 2022, but the shooters missed their intended target and killed someone else.
A true Muslim and not a munafiq, not a hypocrite.
I love a lot of brothers for the sake of Allah, man. I ain't really stressing with cousin got in or out the door, though, because I know what
we Muslim, though. So, all right, so when it comes to a time where you got to pray on the side of the brother, that's why these kind of questions being said.
Because when I go see Dirk, we going to say that for the brother, because a hypocrite is worse than a non-believer.
There's a man-made chemical. It repelled the elements, especially water. So they used it to make the first ever waterproof coating for tanks. Then some companies thought, hey, why just a battlefield? Why not bring this chemical into American homes? And they made their own impenetrable coating, but not for tanks, for pans. They called it Teflon. The men and workers who made Teflon were coming down with nausea, fevers. DuPont wanted to know why. So they laced cigarettes with Teflon. Almost all those men were hospitalized. 1 year after Teflon launched, and already DuPont knew. The dust, they just sent right up the smokestacks, released into the air. The sludge, tossed it into the Ohio, or packed it in the drums and chucked it into the Chesapeake. But they weren't the only ones covering their tracks. 3M, who pioneered these chemicals for Scotchgard, they were testing them on monkeys. Most of the monkeys died. They were doing their own tests on rats. Watched their organs balloon. Now the rats are getting cancers. Tested them on pregnant rats and watched them give birth to pups with deformed eyes. So they yanked all the young women off the Teflon line and never told them why. DuPont knew everything. They knew that the C8 they put into the air and buried into the ground for decades was causing cancers. They knew that their own workers were getting these cancers. They knew that the consumers too were being exposed. And not just in Teflon, in paints, in fabrics, in raincoats, boots. To this day, there is a man-made chemical.
Want to hear another
Yeah, I guess the charges didn't stick.
conspiracy theory that you probably don't know is going to blow your mind?
Let's do it.
The day before 9/11, the day before the attacks, Rumsfeld gave a press conference where he talked about trillions of dollars missing. The day. Then a plane slams into the very part of the building where they were doing the accounting, blows up half the fucking building in the Pentagon, blows up a wall. Donald Rumsfeld was on, where was it, the White House lawn?
According to some estimates, we cannot track $2.3 trillion in transactions. 2.3.
Okay, now, again, somebody told you that literally, like, right before 9/11 happened, they said they couldn't track $2.3 trillion. No, that didn't happen. That did not happen, but it did happen.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so think about what Kennedy said. Think about what you saw when you saw that Vice movie, where Dick Cheney, who was the CEO of Halliburton, becomes vice president and gets billions of dollars in no-bid contracts. Now think about what we just saw with Donald Rumsfeld saying they couldn't find $2.3 trillion. I don't know what? I don't know. It seems like we should have had it. So, like, we'll keep looking. Oh no, the spot where we looked just blew up.
Oh my god. What the
Find
hell?
out if that's true. If it was the accounting office, because this is what I love to say it because it sounds good. But let's make sure it's true that part blew up. But either way, that he did say that, and then they did get hit by a plane a couple of days later.
It's unbelievable.
It's so crazy. And no one talks about that $1 trillion.
No, but and let me lose $5. Well, let me lose $5, bro. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Or I can only imagine. Do you understand what trillion is, bro? Let's go. Dxrk Mafia, I ain't got to tell y'all. Y'all already know.
I don't know if you saw the Ellen live. Ellen went live, right?
Ellen live on what? Like Instagram?
Like Instagram, right?
Yeah.
And like it showed parts of her house, but all the paintings that are in her house are done by this guy who does like I guess like certain rituals, like satanic rituals.
Yeah.
You watch this video, the camera creeps inside of her house, and you can see that weird evil thoughts picture. I looked up the artist, and he's into some really satanic stuff. And that's not even the weird thing. Look at this picture of Ellen sitting inside of her home. This is the picture that was right behind her. Now look at the letters on top. These are the same letters that you write out during satanic rituals. Look at this picture of her cutting her mother's hair. Now look at the picture above her head and try and figure it out.
One, it was so fucked, but in quotation marks, it spells out revenge.
Revenge of what though?
Revenge, I don't know, but that was part of the picture. I'm like, yo, I have a chain that's exactly like that spells out revenge. Like, I gotta throw that shit away.
Is that why you don't wear it now?
Yeah, I don't wear it anymore.
Do you think certain words, if you always kind of hold on to the meaning of it, does it fuck you up?
That's what my friend told me. He said,
You've left the United States of America.
Yes, sir, I have.
Why?
I do not feel safe living in the United States.
Do you want to come in and sit down?
No, sir, I'd rather not.
You'd rather just be here so you can make a fast exit if you have to.
As soon as you and I finish,
you're out
I'm
here.
leaving the country again. Why? Because in a very short time, not today, not tomorrow, but very soon, we'll be facing compulsory vaccination under the mistaken term of voluntary vaccination.
What is it about these vaccinations? You think that they're bad?
Well, first of all, let's start with the fact that the World Health Organization has decided that we have 90% too many people. The World Health Organization has been working since 1974 on vaccines to create permanent sterility.
Doctor, the response is going to be, you're crazy. How can you say this stuff?
They will induce a pandemic. You're going to get the flu. Everybody around us is going to get the flu. Then the United States government, based on their statements that they've already made, will say, oh my, we have a pandemic. What that means is a Holocaust, a genocidal Holocaust. Men and women will sicken and die, and those who survive will be infertile. Let me tell you a story. In 2003, I had a patient in my drug-free medical practice who was a head of state. And one day she said, you know, it's almost time for the great culling to begin.
The what?
That's what I said. The what? She said the great culling, C-U-L-L-I-N-G, when you thin the herd. I said, what are you talking about? She said, it's almost time for the useless eaters to be culled. And she said, those are the people who are consuming our non-renewable natural resources. I said, who are the people who make this decision? She said, we, the aristocrats.
This person you talk to, you're bound because you're a physician and there's the relationship that you can't talk. Is this person a member of the Bilderbergs?
She is not Queen Beatrice. She is not the Queen of England. She is not Henry Kissinger. But she certainly presented herself as a member of that power elite, and she certainly was a head of state.
Okay, here's grainy.
Bro. And what's crazy, I can't find Conspiracy Theory, that show. I can't find that anywhere. It's crazy that that clip even still exists, man, because that used to be my show.
Footage of nuclear test blasts that you've
Sure.
with the mushroom clouds, and there are always these grainy things, and there's all these like little houses lined up and these little trees lined up, and it blows everything down. Yeah. Okay. So here's the question, right? So what happened? Okay. So this is great. Okay, you'll love this. So what happened to the camera?
You son of a bitch.
Right.
How is that happening yet the camera is like totally stable and fine?
Oh my god!
And by the way, the film is fine. The radiation didn't cause any damage to the film.
Oh my god!
And by the way, okay, we'll do this one. We'll do one more time here. Let's see the car.
The car's right behind the house. It just showed up.
Oh,
okay.
It just showed up.
So wait a minute. First of all,
wasn't there.
First of all, where's the car comes from?
Yeah. No car.
The second is, does it really look like
car?
A real, does that look like a real car?
That's insane.
Is that a house or is that like is that a 12-inch scale model?
What?
Right.
Oh, that does look fake.
There's also the camera didn't move at all either.
You know what it looks like? It looks like the smoke is too big. Watch when it hits. Like the volume, like the size of it, it looks small.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, it looks like we're looking at something that's like a few inches tall.
If you watch like making of Star Wars, any of the any movies before CGI, whenever they do anything like that, it's always with these tiny models.
Yes. Yeah, this looks fake as shit.
Let's get another one. It's like, okay, what the camera's fine.
That's hilarious.
Oh, this is good.
Yo, the cameraman's the most powerful being, and Galactus wouldn't even be able to do nothing with the cameraman, bro. That is crazy, because how the camera not moving? And just like that clip from the other day, man, how the camera panning up and watching the shuttle leave the moon? I don't know. Entertainment purposes only. Just asking questions.
We discovered soon after I entered office that with the specter of an atomic war looming like Armageddon far nearer than it does today, the United States government actually did carry out on our citizens experiments involving radiation.
What?
Thousands of government-sponsored experiments did take place at hospitals, universities, and military bases around our nation. In one scientist injected plutonium into 18 patients without their knowledge. Informed consent means your doctor tells you the risk of the treatment you are about to undergo. In too many cases, informed consent was withheld. Americans were kept in the dark about the effects of what was being done to them. The deception extended beyond the test subjects themselves to encompass their families and the American people as a whole. For these experiments were kept secret, and they were shrouded not for a compelling reason of national security, but for the simple fear of embarrassment, and that was wrong. Informed consent, community right to know, our entire battery of essential human protections, all these grew up in response to the health and humanitarian crises of this 20th century. They are proof that we are equal to our challenges. Science is not ever simply objective. It emerges from the crucible of historical circumstances and personal experience. Let us remember, too, that cynicism about government has roots in historical circumstances because of stonewallings and evasions in the past, times when a family member or a neighbor suffered an injustice and had nowhere to turn and couldn't even get the facts. Some Americans lost faith in the promise of our democracy. Government was very powerful, but very far away and not trusted to be ethical. The United States of America offers a sincere apology to those of our citizens who were subjected to these experiments, to their families, and to their communities.
United States of America.
And I wonder if that was like the scandal happened right after that. Who knows?
America.
Yes. If humans evolved from apes, why do apes still exist today? If Neil Armstrong was the first to set foot on the moon, then who took the famous photo of his arrival? And why haven't we returned to the moon since that historic mission? What happened to all those plans for lunar exploration? How is it possible that NASA lost the recordings of the moon landing, one of humanity's most important moments? Why did 56 countries sign a treaty to restrict access to Antarctica? And why is it prohibited for planes to fly over that region? How were the Simpsons able to predict so many future events with astonishing detail and accuracy? Why have remains of giant humans and representations of these beings been found in various ancient cultures, even in the Bible? How did they manage to build perfect, gigantic structures with primitive tools without advanced machinery or modern technology? Why do we find images in ancient Egyptian art that appear to depict spaceships? And what about dragons? Why do all cultures, separated by centuries, represent these mythical creatures, even in the Bible? What connection exists between pine cones and Egyptian art and their striking resemblance to the human pineal gland? Why are so many dark and demonic symbols found in music and popular culture? Why do most video games today revolve around violence and chaos? If we live in such an advanced world, why are obesity rates, cancer, heart disease, and depression higher than ever? So many questions and so few answers. Comment answer if you want me to uncover the truth behind these questions one by one in upcoming videos.
Alright, guys. Now, I know that was an AI voiceover. I'm pretty sure it's just summing up stuff that he said before. But we'll get into some more Billy Carson for real.
Guys, I saw this post that says if you search up Illuminati backwards and add .com in a browser, it leads to the official website of the NSA. So we're going to test out right now if that's true or not. If it is, that's super creepy. Okay guys, I'm going to copy and paste the Illuminati backwards into my browser and see what happens. So this is the Illuminati spelled backwards, and let's see what happens when I click it. Okay, it's loading. It's actually true, okay. It actually leads to the NSA website.
Things I wished I never learned. If you burn alive, your eyeballs melt out of your head, but you'll still be conscious and aware of what's happening. When you use bleach without gloves and your hands get all slimy, that's your skin melting off. Mummies used to not be rare at all until British people ate most of them. You're more likely to be bit while walking around New York by a person than by a shark in the ocean, and human bites are one of the most deadly. If you're married to a man, there's a 1 in 5 chance that he'll leave you if you get extremely sick. There's enough water pockets in your toilet piping for rats and snakes to swim up, and people's no-no parts have been bitten off.
Something big is happening in the UK right now. In recent weeks, England flags have been popping up all over the country. And while that might seem uncontroversial, a country flying its own flag, in the UK, it's kinda rare. And it sparked a heated debate of whether it's racist to fly the England flag or not. It's been dubbed Operation Raise the Flag, and they've started appearing pretty much anywhere a flag can be hung. Lampposts, bridges, over highways, and it's even being painted on crossings and roundabouts. People who support this operation often argue that raising the flag is about being able to be proud of traditional British identity, which they argue has been suppressed in the country in recent years. Others, however, say that when they look at this flag, they see white supremacy, and it being hung up everywhere is like a reminder that they should go back to their country. It's to the point where where some argue that if the country wants a flag that isn't seen as oppressive and instead represents a modern-day Britain, they should change the flag. And this situation only got more controversial when reports started coming out that some local governments started removing these flags, citing safety reasons. So there's one side that say the England flag represents pride in British identity and history, while the other side say that much of British history is marked by oppression and that the flag serves as a reminding symbol. So while it might seem like just an argument about a flag, in reality it's a fight over what will be the identity of modern-day Britain. So the question is, what do you guys think?
I mean, we've had problems with flags before. I don't want to compare it to a Confederate flag, but I don't know. I don't know enough about the British flag. I'd have to ask, one of my friends about that, but I don't see how it would be racist, but I don't know. Yeah, we can go into more detail on flags, but yeah, let's try to research that a little more on the next video.
K. Dick somehow thought it was a good idea to take massive amounts of amphetamines while writing science fiction.
Hey, if you guys have an opinion on that flag thing, let me know in the comments. I wouldn't mind, getting to learn a little bit more. Maybe I can get another perspective on that.
It made him insanely productive. In 5 years, he wrote 16 novels, but it wreaked havoc on his body and it messed with his mind. He became convinced that a necklace worn by a delivery person shot out a magic pink laser beam that gave him psychic powers. He spent the next 10 years writing an insane 8,000-page journal describing the information he got from the magic pink laser beam. Then, after spending his entire life on the brink of poverty, he hit pay dirt when Hollywood adapted his works into hit movies like Blade Runner, Minority Report, and Total Recall. But by then, drugs had wiped him out. He dropped dead of a stroke before any of those movies opened. Get Human History on Drugs for more fascinating true stories.
Is it possible that we are on the brink of an all-out zombie outbreak without anyone realizing it? A couple weeks ago, I talked about how Colorado residents were a little concerned after seeing rabbits in their yards that had warts and tentacles sticking out of their faces due to a viral infection. The residents were assured that the infection could not spread to other animals, pets, or humans, but coincidentally, only a few weeks later, people in the US and Canada began to witness squirrels with similar symptoms, having warts all over their bodies due to a strange infection. They've nicknamed them zombie squirrels, and people have also pointed out how they and the rabbits scarily remind them of The Last of Us, which, if you don't know, is a game about a viral infection that comes through funguses. Keep that in mind. Moving over to humans, cases of Candida auris have tripled due to a deadly fungus that has been spreading across the United States. What's so bad about this fungus is that it's already built up a resistance to any medication that was meant to fight it. It's actually so resistant to the medication that doctors are saying if you get infected with this pathogen that has no treatment, then there's nothing they can do to help you, you're on your own. We've seen the CDC release a zombie preparedness guide on what to do and how to prepare for a zombie apocalypse. We know that billionaires are building bunkers en masse, and if this fungus, which is already resistant to all of our medications, decides to mutate and get stronger, who knows what will happen. Each and every one of us has an electromagnetic field around us at all times. Some people believe that this field changes shapes, size, or colors based on what we're feeling or thinking at the time. And even though you cannot perceive this field with the human eye, there was a man who once claimed to have created an invention that would allow anyone to see an electromagnetic field at any given time. This was around 1940 when a man named Dr. Walter Kilner invented a pair of goggles that he said was able to see things that the human eye wasn't normally able to see, including a person's aura or electromagnetic field. According to him, by using a substance called dicyanin dye between two glass panes, he was able to block out all spectrums of light besides the small amount of light given off by our electromagnetic field, allowing one to see it. What's really interesting is that shortly after his invention, dicyanin all of a sudden became a very hard to obtain substance. And when the man tried to reinvent the goggles to a T and sell them online, his online shop completely disappeared and the seller was never heard from again. Now, I don't know if those goggles actually allow someone to see a person's electromagnetic field, but I will say every time we use our devices like laptops, cell phones, and tablets, it is putting out radiation that interacts with our bodies and EMFs, and you don't want that. That's why I highly recommend that you get an anti-radiation sticker for any device you use. There are countless videos showing just how effective these are at reducing radiation from your device. They're easy to install and they're super cheap, so I'll link them below.
I learned that what they are pretending is scientific research.
On another note to that, you ever feel like you could feel your aura? Like, you ever feel like you can like charge yourself? Sometimes I feel like that. You know, I don't know nothing really, you know, what I'm talking about that, but like, I definitely be feeling like I can, you know what I'm saying, power up sometimes, you know? And sometimes when I'm laying flat on the bed, you know, sometimes I could feel, anyway. Yeah. Yeah.
Is actually directed energy weapons platforms.
Let me know
One of
if
the
y'all
more
feel
concerning
something
ones
like that, too,
contemporarily
in the
would be
comments.
things like voice-to-skull technology. Voice-to-skull technology would be the ability to have what I call intrusive thoughts, a voice in your head. Like imagine if I had a microphone and I could transmit, but the receiver was in your head. So now if I had the ability to mimic your voice and deliver that to you, I can now start putting my thoughts into your head.
How often is this happening?
I'm concerned that it's been an ongoing activity for a couple of decades now to the general population of this planet. I think that the Neuralink is a distraction and it gives the false pretense that you need some sort of hardware installed to make that connection. I do not believe that Neuralink is required. I wholly believe in the potential for there to be a massive amount of technology that could be applied that for all practical purposes to the average person on this planet would be very convincing that something off-world is coming on-world.
An alien false flag.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that could happen?
Absolutely. I think it's going to happen probably pretty soon. It'll be similar to when 9/11 got us the Patriot Act. We lost a lot of rights when 9/11 occurred.
We sure did. Believe it, man.
So remember last video we were talking about how we keep having vivid dreams, and some of y'all mentioned in the comments that you guys have vivid dreams sometimes. So I started sleeping with my phone at least like on the other side of the room, and I noticed that I stopped like for the last couple nights. I haven't had no crazy dreams. So based on what the guy was talking about, maybe it doesn't have anything to do with Neuralink at all. Maybe signals from our phones. Again, entertainment purposes only. I am only here to entertain. But yeah, maybe something with our phones is getting broadcasted through us to our phone, but we can see it sometimes in our dreams when we're on that subconscious state of mind. Let me know what you guys think about that, man.
Okay, so did you know that in Washington State it is illegal to hunt or shoot a Bigfoot?
Word.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, look and pull that up.
Yeah, you can't kill that.
Now, why would that be illegal if it didn't exist?
Capone not woke.
Why is Bigfoot listed in Yellowstone National Park's list of animals?
Because it's real.
There are laws so
Bro, if you shoot a Bigfoot, you bogus. For real. Come on now, bro. You went into his home, intruded, and shot him. You couldn't just record it like everybody else do. Come on, bro. I think they put that law just in case it's real. Just in case it's real, don't go shooting it. It ain't for you to shoot.
bizarre. You'd swear they were made up. But they're still enforced right now. 1.
8 strange things you never knew about the Wild West. Number 1, crazed cannibals used to roam the Nevada desert. So for hundreds of years, the Northern Paiute tribe would pass down tales of a tribe of giant cannibals that had red hair and lived in a cave. So the Paiute tribe had a name for the giants, and that was Seedica. And apparently the Seedica would terrorize the Paiutes and end up eating a lot of their members over like hundreds of years. But they eventually started fighting back, and apparently during one of the battles, they end up catching them in their cave and filling up the entrance with a bunch of things that would catch fire and setting it on fire, and that pretty much killed all of them inside. Now that made it sound like folklore, but the weird thing is, in 1911, 2 miners went into Lovelock Cave in Nevada because they were looking for bat guano, which would be used for fertilizer. But while they were exploring the cave, they ended up finding 45 human skeletons, some of them which were really big, like 8 to 9 feet tall. Pretty heavily reported on. There was multiple newspapers that wrote stories about it. You can pause this if you want to read it. Now, a lot of the skulls and fragments were lost to time, but there was a handful of the giant skulls at a local museum for decades. And this is an actual shot of one of them. And another interesting thing is, the 2 miners, they said that when they went into the cave at the entrance, they noticed that on the walls of the cave, it looked like there had been an extreme fire, which totally lines up with the Paiute tribe's story. And one of the skeletons that they found, the foot was so big that in nowadays shoe size in the US it'd be a 28. And we could dive deeper into this in another video if you guys want me to. Alright, number 2, cowboys often saw UFOs. There was one notable case that happened on November 25th, 1896 in a small frontier town called Lodi, California. So there was a Civil War veteran named H.G. Shaw who was riding in his wagon with his friend who was a journalist named Camille Spooner. They were cruising down a long dirt road when they said that they saw 3 weird beings off on the side of the road, and behind them was a floating craft that was hovering above a lake. They essentially described them as looking like greys, but that's before greys were even a name for aliens at that point. They stood about 7 feet tall and were very slender with big eyes and a small nose. Apparently the beings came up to them, and they were also holding some like weird apparatus underneath their arms, and they would occasionally like take like breaths from it like as a breathing apparatus. It seemed like they were trying to communicate with each other, but they couldn't understand anything. Well, H.G. Shaw like reached out and like touched like the elbow, I guess, of one of the aliens, and he said that his like arm lifted like really light. But then they said like the aliens tried to reach out and grab them or maybe abduct them, but they could also just been trying to touch them to see what they're all about. But after not being able to move them off their wagon, I guess the aliens like ran back to their ship, but they were kind of like bouncing as if they were on the moon or like low gravity. But they didn't really explain it that way because no one had been to the moon at that point. They just described it as like bouncing like lightweight beings. They bounced back to their UFO and it eventually just took off, and that was it. But they later reported on it in the newspaper. And this is a shot of that clipping. You can pause to read if you want. And then about a year later in the small town of Aurora, Texas, the citizens reported seeing cigar-shaped objects in the sky. Now that sounds completely believable because the Pentagon recently released the footage of the cigar-shaped UFOs that they said are real. And there's a lot more strange stories, so if you guys want a part 2, let me know.
Latest? What the heck? What's that little green man right there? I could just imagine like a cowboy, like a sturdy cowboy type, and you just got a little green man in front of him hitting a pipe. Like what? I could just imagine that one. That's
historical figures with truly bizarre habits. This photograph of Howard Hughes captures a man slowly losing his grip on reality. Hughes became so terrified of germs that he would spend hours writing detailed memos about how his staff should handle everyday objects. He once wrote a 3-page instruction manual on how to open a can of peaches, including diagrams of proper hand positioning and sterilization procedures. This portrait of Ludwig van Beethoven reveals a composer with truly bizarre daily habits. Beethoven would count exactly 60 coffee beans for his morning cup, no more, no less. He was also obsessed with cold water, pouring pitchers of it over his head throughout the day to stimulate his creativity. His landlords constantly complained about water damage from his flooding habits. He moved apartments dozens of times because of his destructive water rituals. This image of Michelangelo shows an artist whose personal hygiene was absolutely revolting. Michelangelo would wear the same clothes for months without washing, often sleeping in his boots. He believed that removing his clothes would weaken his artistic spirit. When he finally died, his servants had to cut his boots off his feet because the leather had fused with his skin. His dedication to art came at the cost of basic human cleanliness.
Have you seen that one theory that Benjamin Franklin might have been like a serial killer? What? Yeah, so back in 1776, I guess he lived in London at this one house, and then he moved back to America or whatever. And during 1998, they wanted to make the house into like a museum. So while they're renovating the place and they, they're digging it up, like they're going underneath it, bro, they find pretty much like a room with no windows in it with 15 skeletons inside of it.
What the
children skeletons.
Oh, what the fuck?
So hella people have theorized that he might have been a
serial killer,
a murderer, yeah, and he killed hella people and hid their bodies underneath his house.
Yo,
he was damn near like Jack the Ripper or something.
Saying, bro, on the low.
Yeah.
Wait, Benjamin Franklin, was he the guy who did the kite shit?
Yes, he's on the $100 bill.
Oh my god, wait, the guy who did the kite is the $100 bill?
Yeah.
How the fuck is he there? And he's a murderer. Yeah. Do you see what we're doing here in America?
You ever hear about the suburbs theory? Suburbs. Suburbs, literally neighborhoods and suburbs were created to control us.
What?
Now check this out.
Yeah.
The theory goes that when you have a bunch of people living on farms in lands where they can do whatever the fuck they want. They can design it the way they want. They can raise whatever they want on there, put anything they want on their land. It's harder for you to control them and tell them what to do because they're so naturally resourced. Like they have everything on their own. They have their groceries to themselves. They grow their own food, have water. They're surviving without the necessary needs of a higher power, like the elite government, whatever. But if you take people and you stuff them into these capsules, what would happen? They would start comparing each other to each other. They would start living kind of similar lives, right? They would probably get similar houses, similar cars, similar jobs, and they would look at each other and stay within that breach of what life could be. Now, what's crazy is SpongeBob tried exposing the truth with it.
Oh, like their own suburb?
So
This
is a conspiracy theory I 100% believe in. So, in 2020, the reason the government put us into a lockdown is so they could change the batteries in the pigeons.
I heard that.
Right. Have you ever seen a baby pigeon? It's because they're all cameras.
It's a very good point.
The weirdest part is my dad has like pigeons as well, and even I've never seen a baby pigeon.
Very good point. Where do they go?
There's like a van driving around collecting them all.
Yeah, to make sure they don't get too wet.
Exactly.
Crazy is I ain't never seen a baby pigeon.
Have you heard the conspiracy theory that Wayfair is trafficking humans?
What? No.
This isn't proven, right? So Wayfair has these weirdly priced items on there. Like there was a safe, a little like small safe, right? And it's named after a person that went missing in Chicago.
What?
So the safe is named like Amelia, right? And it's listed for $150,000. Or a chair named Brooke that's listed for $200,000.
That's crazy.
It's a thing that people have seen on Wayfair for years, but it's just been ignored. No one has done anything about it. I don't know if anyone has bought these items to see what comes in the mail, but it's so weird because it's so common. It happens all the time.
For real?
Yeah, so there have been hundreds of listings like this, and they usually go up right after somebody turns up missing and their family's crying for them and pleading for them to come home. Yeah, it is honestly one of the weirdest things I have ever seen.
Have you heard about the dead
That's crazy.
Theories?
I don't know nothing about it.
Basically, the internet theory is that the internet died back in 2016, 2017. Since then, everything that we see online is basically AI generated content and bots. It was created to basically gaslight the entire world. I believe this shit only because of Destiny. He's basically like a YouTuber / debater, streamer. He comes across this guy who claims to be some type of politician. The guy's name is Dr. Aegon Chaloki.
Apparently he has really strong credentials. He's got a very unique name, but I can't actually find good information about who it is.
And this guy has a YouTube channel where he has speeches. They're like 3-hour-long videos, just straight talking without having a water break, taking any type of break.
I am an intelligence educator. I prepare intelligence personnel for clandestine service. The focus of my career has been centered on the intelligence component of national security.
Wait, why does he have 2 clip-on mics? One for backup, maybe?
My name is Aegon Chalakian. I am a part.
This is 10 months ago. Wait, so is he real?
And then in his chat, this random user sends a link saying, I don't think this guy is fake. I found this document about him and it seems legit. It's like a bot.
Recognized.
Or somebody sent out a bot to basically
convince him to not believe that.
Exactly.
So we have a federal court case, and it's the guy, it's all the wrong font for court documents. Yeah, I noticed that the state was misspelled up here. The real photo. Wait, are these hands real? The women's faces are at the exact same angle. People are saying it's like the exact same face. Is it though?
It's the exact same thing.
No. Hold on. No. Wait. It is fake. This is a fake picture.
This is not a conspiracy.
That's right.
This is scary. So in 2018, scientists discovered a black hole really, really far. Like I want to say it was like 16 million light years away. Something crazy.
Whoa.
Super far from us. They're watching it literally swallow a star.
Oof.
It was sucking a star in.
Did it move or the star move?
The star was getting sucked into this black, like, so it was just like light streams going into this black hole.
And where is it going?
Listen to this. What they thought they knew of black holes, well, they don't know a lot. Stuff gets sucked into it because it's just this mad force of gravitational pull that just sucks everything in.
Yeah.
But this year, they looked at the same black hole and it was spitting the star back out. Like, so light and stuff was coming out of this black hole. Just like, so it was like regurgitating this star.
Just
But,
recycling it.
Like broken apart though. So it's like, what's on the other side? Yeah.
Well, I thought a star was just a ball of gas.
It is. But light and stuff was coming out of it. So it was like it sucked the star in with the light, fire, all that, whatever a star is. And it was spitting it straight back out.
That's
3 years
terrifying.
later.
Dave Chappelle. Bro, dark holes freak me out. Just saying.
Tried to warn us.
Do you know why Prince, the famous rock star that was a friend of mine, do you know why he called himself the artist when he came back? He calls himself the artist because that's what they call us in our contracts. Oh, these contracts are crazy. You should hear the terminology they say in these contracts. To use your name and likeness in perpetuity throughout the universe. Who the fuck could possibly know what that means? Nobody does. It's so complicated, in fact, that when you're a kid like me, you have to hire somebody to tell you what that means. And you sit down at a table and you do the contract game. And that's how I got with Comedy Central. I signed the contract. But I signed the contract the way that a 28-year-old expectant father that was broke signs a contract. I was desperate. I needed a way out. And it wasn't good money and it wasn't good circumstances. But what else am I going to do, I said. And all these white people sitting at that table told me, trust us, Dave, it's a good contract. And I looked around the table and they all seemed to agree it was a good contract. But what if it was like that game of 3-Card Monte? What if they were all friends and I didn't know it?
Do you agree with Dave Chappelle? Could there be a darker side to these contracts? Or is he making this up? Drop it in the comments. And TikTok, this video is for entertainment purposes only.
Man, I'm so glad Dave got his money, man. And I'm so glad he ain't wear the dress and sell out, bro. He one of the few ones. And they tried him. They tried him, man. That dude is a devoted Muslim, bro. And they said he was on crack and this, that, and the third. But I'm so happy he got paid, bro. Man, Dave Chappelle out here doing it, bro. Now, there is a theory that that's not the real Dave Chappelle. We're going to get to that in another video. But, you know, I'm just happy he got paid. And just be, hey, man, if you ever come up on something, be careful with them contracts, man. Have somebody look it over that's not a part of the people that have given you the contract, man. Just make sure you're careful out here because you will get taken advantage of in every way, shape, and form. I haven't gotten a contract yet, but I work at Domino's. So, you know, maybe this YouTube blows up, man. I'm going to have y'all go over my contract before I sign anything. But, yeah, back to the point, man. I'm happy Dave got his money, man. We'll get more into that later in another video.
Scariest one that I read about was a DARPA one called the Eater robot. It uses biological material as fuel, which means if
You're kidding. You're kidding.
No, I'm not
Jesus
kidding.
Christ.
EATR. This is going to be able to eat dead bodies in the field and use it as fuel to continue to kill people.
Oh, good. That sounds like a fine thing to develop.
Just imagine an army of robotic armed artificially intelligent things,
corpse eaters,
that eat corpses in order to have fuel to continue to kill
Well,
more
someone's
people.
obviously imagining that.
It's made. I mean, this is a real thing.
If you have horses or if you have any sort of cattle or whatever, but mainly horses,
okay,
if you've noticed that they have braids on them,
oh yeah, yeah,
most of the times when their horses have braids and they didn't do it themselves, a duende braided their hair. That's like a sign that there's duendes in that area.
What the fuck? I've never heard about that.
Some people are saying it's witches, but I'm gonna show you a video of this guy. He's basically talking about his experiences with duendes, and one of them is a statue, because you know some people believe duendes are like little goblins running around, but other ones are like statues and shit. In Mexico, there's even little markets where you could buy some, and basically you give offerings, and you have like some sort of like pact with them. You give them whatever they want, and then they help you out in whatever you need, right? But you let me know what the statue does.
Wait, what?
Les piden cosas para su vida. Por ejemplo, a este brother le piden ayúdame a dejar el vicio. Entonces, quiero dejar de fumar, por favor ayúdame. Entonces vienen, dejan cigarro. Quiero dejar de tomar, por favor ayúdame. Le dejas hacer de tomar, por favor ayúdame. Le dejas...
There's no way that's real, bro.
So it blinked.
Oh, it winked. It didn't blink. It was only one eye.
And yo, these legends have been around for a minute. It goes from Ireland to the Philippines to Mexico to even other parts in Central America and even South America. There's no way people could be telling the same lie.
Have you seen the theory about clocks?
No.
So when you look at a clock, it looks pretty normal. You never think anything of it. But what if I told you there's actually a really dark theory behind the idea of a clock?
What?
Right, you go across the clock across the way, you see like 11 and 1, it equals 12. 10 and 2 equals 12. 9 and 3 equals 12. 8 and 4 equals 12. 7 and 5 equals 12. And then 6 plus 6 equals 12. They all equal 12.
Wait, what does that mean though?
Well, also think about this. When you go diagonally and look at the numbers and you subtract it, like 12 minus 6 equals 6. 11 minus 5 equals 6. 10 minus 4 equals 6.
Wait, what is going on?
But wait, if you look at this a different way too, if you look across, 12 plus 1 equals 13. 11 and 2 equals 13. 10 and 3 equals 13. 9 and 4 equals 13. It all equals 13.
So what's the theory?
You look at all the numbers, right? They all... It's just weird how you go different formulations and they all equal the same.
That's actually kind of scary.
I don't really want to get into like the exact thing that I saw, but it is weird how everything, you know, equals the same. Comment if you guys know what that is.
Dude,
I don't know. I don't want to say.
That like give me chills just look. There's these.
Dxrk Mafia knows what that is. All those numbers were evil, bro. 13, it's got something to do with masonry and devil. 6s, we all know what the 6s are. 12.
These specific coordinates that people have been putting on Google Earth.
It's a place. It's a specific place.
It's a place. So when you put these coordinates in, it shows you like a wasteland, right?
Yeah.
Nothing around it except in the middle. There's like a big it's like a portal. It's like
one, is it?
I don't think so.
This is easily one of the most metal things that I've ever seen occur naturally in the world. And like the nickname that came from this is pretty fitting. This is known as Antarctica's Blood Falls. And some people think it's really creepy or like a bad omen. I honestly think it's awesome, and there's some science behind it. The Blood Falls were discovered back in 1911, and it was later discovered that the water comes from a subglacial lake. That subglacial lake has been sealed off by the glaciers for about 1.5 to 2 million years. Now, as I'm sure you're wondering, why is the water blood red? It's actually because the water is so rich in iron oxides that it gives it this red hue. It's reported that the water contains no oxygen and has not seen the sun since it was trapped under the ice 1.5 to 2 million years ago. Also, the water contains about 3 to 4 times the amount of salt in it that seawater has, which prevents it from freezing even in super cold temperatures. Now, trapped in this underwater lake, scientists found unique microbial life. These organisms can survive without sunlight, oxygen, or much energy, which basically is telling them this is something that, you know, you could maybe find on other planets like Mars. The unique life forms and what they're able to survive in has caused NASA and other researchers to study the Blood Falls. But all the science aside, you cannot look at that picture and tell me it is not extremely metal. It would also make a really good album cover.
Yo, that's it for the video today, guys. We saw some crazy ones, man. Hey, love y'all, Dxrk Mafia, man. Like I said, I'm coming out with them every day. Every day until we getting those good views like the legends do. You know, so hey, love y'all. Be safe. You know, don't go on down any red waterfalls or nothing like that, man. All right. Peace.